Right before the season, I put out my official predictions. Everyone's record, every playoff matchup, every award. But I don't want to just put out my picks and run away from them. I want to hold myself accountable, so let's see how they're holding up. Just for fun, at the end, I'm gonna go over some of your comments from that video. Let's see where your criticisms were right and wrong. Just to note, these records are as of Saturday, June 29th. Starting with the NL West, I only have one spot wrong. The Giants and D-backs are flipped, but they're only a half game apart. The Dodgers, of course, are running away with it. They're playing 3 games off my pace. I wasn't sure what to make of the Padres after losing their manager and trading Soto, but looking at their roster, I thought they could be decent and make the playoffs. And so far, they're playing 1 game ahead of my projection. A lot of people had Arizona and San Francisco in the playoffs. I didn't, and so far, they're playing worse than what I had them. Then, you got the Rockies, who I had as the worst team in the National League, and they're playing even worse than the 107 losses I gave them. All in all, I'm very happy with the NL West. All of that joy is gone when I look at the NL Central. I thought Milwaukee was going to take a massive step back. Losing their manager, losing their star pitcher. Devin Williams had a major injury and still hasn't come back. But it doesn't matter. They found a way to be far and away the best team in the Central. So my last place pick looks really bad right now, playing 22 games ahead of my pace. I had the Reds and Cubs in the playoffs and they're both sitting in last place. Although, all 4 teams under Milwaukee are about the same. Still, the Reds have been disappointing, playing 12 games behind where I had them. The Cubs playing 11 behind. The Cardinals, I actually have exactly right. 83 win pace. Same with Pittsburgh, they're on a 77 win pace and that's what I gave them. So that's really good. But Milwaukee, Cincinnati, and the Cubs ruined this whole division for me. For the NL East, I played it safe at the top and took some risk at the bottom. The Braves are nowhere near as good as they have been, not on a 100 win pace, but on a 92 win pace. The Phillies never seem to get off to a good start, but this year they've been hot all year. They have the best record in baseball on a 105 win pace, so I pretty much have the Braves and Phillies switched. I went out on a limb and put the Nationals in third and Marlins in last. Remember, the Marlins made the playoffs last year, and I was optimistic about the Nats improving this year. They're playing at the exact 77 win pace I gave them, and they were in third place for most of the season. But thanks to the Mets playing out of their minds as of late, they've gotten back to 500 and playing 6 games ahead of my pace. I was right about the Marlins being in last, but I didn't think they'd be this bad. From the playoffs last year to 73 wins on my prediction to a 59 win pace. Now to the AL West, and I have everyone in the right spot. The Mariners have been the best team the whole year, playing just 2 games behind my projection. The Astros had a terrible start, but they've climbed back to 500, so they're on an 81 win pace. But assuming the first couple months wasn't the real Astros, they have a good shot at meeting my 89 win projection. I took some heat for leaving the Rangers out of the playoffs. I thought they'd be in the mix, but just miss it. And so far, they've just been bad. They're only on pace to win 72 games, but somehow that's still good enough for 3rd place. The Angels are bad, but a lot of people thought they'd lose 100 games. I had them only losing 90, and they're on a 91 loss pace. Then you got Oakland, and after a really good start, they were playing at 500 after the first month. They've been terrible ever since, and they're only 2 games better than what I had them, on pace for 105 losses and not 107. The Central once again crushes me. I was looking at this division thinking nobody is really that good, so why not take a flyer on a team that's obviously getting better, the Tigers. They started out good, but they just can't seem to win anymore. They have the same record as the Rangers, 13 games behind what I had them. I can never figure out the Guardians. If I think they'll be great, they suck. If I think they'll suck, they'll be great. So this year, I hedged my bets and had them at 83 wins, and they're on pace for 104. How? Why? I don't know. They even lost Shane Bieber early on, but they're getting awesome performances from their offense, and their bullpen is just out of this world. Minnesota won this last year. I thought they'd be around 500 this year, and they started off really bad, but they had that hot streak and they're on a 90 win pace. 9 games better than what I had them. I figured the Royals would be better. Some had them winning the Central, which I thought was too far, but those people were closer than I was. I had them at 64 wins, and they're on pace for 88, so I whiffed on them. I also figured the White Sox would be among the worst in baseball. I had them at 104 losses, and somehow I'm still short by 12 games. They're on a 116 loss pace. Finally, the AL East, and here's one where I was good at the top and bad at the bottom. I had the Orioles winning this division with 97 wins. They're on pace for 103. The Yankees, I thought would for sure get back to the playoffs, and they will, but they're on pace to win 10 more games than I had them with. I also like the Rays to sneak in with 85 wins, and they're sitting under 500 on an 80 win pace. I had the Blue Jays out, but just barely, and they're nowhere close. Instead of 84 wins, they're on pace for 75 and might sell the team at the deadline. Finally, you got Boston, and they've been reliably not good for the last couple years. But this year, they've been exciting and they've been winning. I had them at 75 wins, but they're 5 games over 500 and on pace for 86. In the NL, my division winners were the Dodgers, Reds, and Braves. For the wildcards, I had the Phillies, Cubs, and Padres. My only division winner was the Dodgers, and my only wildcard was the Padres. But the Phillies and Braves are both in the playoffs, just switched. So, that leaves the Reds and Cubs as the teams completely out of the playoffs. Right now, those spots are being taken by the Brewers and Cardinals. In the AL, my division winners were the Mariners, Tigers, and Orioles. My wildcards were the Yankees, Astros, and Rays. Mariners and Orioles were right. Also, the Yankees is the wildcard. But as of now, Tigers, Astros, and Rays are not in the picture. That would be the Guardians, Twins, and Royals. Now for awards, and for AL Rookie of the Year, I had Evan Carter. I thought it was a pretty safe pick, but that's not going to happen. 45 games, 188 average, 5 homers, 633 OPS, and hasn't even played for more than a month. For NL Rookie of the Year, I had Yamamoto. He had a good start. He was borderline all-star worthy. 14 starts, 2.92 ERA, but it would help his cause a lot to get off the IL and have a good second half. I don't love my pick, but it's a lot better than Carter. For AL Cy Young, I have Kevin Gausman. He finished third last year. He's a strikeout machine. But this year, he started 16 games and has a 4.26 ERA, so that's just not going to happen. My NL Cy Young pick was even worse, Spencer Strider. I had the same thought as Gausman, have a decent ERA and strike out 250 batters, but he made 2 starts and went down for elbow surgery. So all in all, I'm embarrassed in the Cy Young front. For NL MVP, I had Mookie Betts, and for a lot of the season, that looked like a great pick. He's been out the last 2 weeks, but if he can come back, I think he has a real shot at winning. My AL MVP was Julio Rodriguez. He normally starts slow and finishes strong, but if he wants to be in the MVP conversation, he's gonna have to be Aaron Judge ×5 to out Aaron Judge. He's been a big disappointment and shouldn't even be considered for the All-Star team. My NL Manager of the Year was David Bell. I thought he would lead the Reds to the NL Central crown, and he could still do that. But as of right now, it's Pat Murphy of the Brewers that you want to put your money on. For the AL, I had AJ Hinch. Same logic, same result. It just hasn't worked out for the Tigers. I did say keep an eye out for Stephen Vogt of the Guardians. Right now, that's absolutely the pick. Finally, my World Series prediction, Orioles over Dodgers. I think that's still a solid pick. I know there's a bunch of teams that have a lot to say about that. The Yankees, the Guardians, the Phillies, the Braves, the Brewers, but a couple first place teams on a 100-win pace. I'm more confident in my World Series pick midseason than I've been in a long time. Now, let's dive into your comments for my prediction video. How did the Giants only improve by 1 game, getting rid of all their bad players and bringing in Blake Snell and Lee and Chapman and Soler? Well, I think you're seeing it play out. Not picking a Texas team for the AL West is crazy. So far so good on this one, but the Astros are charging hard. Not sure about the Rangers though. Okay, this one's saying the Cubs are going to be really good because of Craig Counsell, and he was also really high on the Guardians. I wish you were right about the Cubs, but you were right about the Guardians. Angels will lose well over 100 games. So far, not great, but not that awful. The only difference is the Cubs and Reds being switched. I think we're both in the same boat of misery in the NL Central. If Turner and Harper heat up, the Phillies could possibly make a run at the division. I think at this point the Phillies should definitely take the East. As a Twins fan, I could not live with 3rd place. Well, as of now, they're clinging to 2nd. I'll come back to this when the Rangers repeat. Yeah, I think this might be a lost season for the Rangers. You got the Tigers winning this division. You got some. Well, no, just turns out I'm stupid. NL West, Dodgers, D-backs, Giants, Padres, Rockies. That middle isn't looking too great. I think the Royals are too low and the Mariners are too high. You were right about the Royals, but wrong about the Mariners. Cardinals win the World Series and take the NL Central with 96 wins. So far, the Cardinals have been competent, but a World Series contender, I don't think so. Cubs are winning the Central with 90 games. Another person sleeping on Milwaukee like I did. This one says I'm way too low on the Twins and explains why. The Twins are a bit better than I thought, but I can't imagine Twins fans are all that satisfied this year. The Royals are going to have an 86-76 season. You got me, this looks pretty accurate. Milwaukee is going 162, and the Braves will go on with the best record back-to-back. This was surprisingly accurate, at least with Milwaukee. The Twins will repeat as Central champs. Tigers and Cleveland will be around 500. Decent call on the Twins, not so good in Tigers or Cleveland. Cubs 97-65, first in the NL Central. Yeah, no. Watch the D-backs win 86 plus games this year. They're gonna need to play a whole lot better to sniff the playoffs. You lost me at the Nationals in 3rd. You know, if it wasn't for Grimace, they'd still be in 3rd. Dog, the Astros are winning 100 games. They got back to 500, that's a start. Marlins at what? Yeah, the whole video is a fail for many reasons. Yeah, Marlins at last. I'll say it again, last. Dead last. Phillies will win NL East. So far, so good. No D-backs in the playoffs? Wow. They could very well have a good second half and sneak in, but the whole season they just haven't been there. And finally, this guy is clueless, and this is easily the worst prediction video I've ever seen. I'm guessing I picked their team to finish last and they didn't like it. So there you go. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Maybe after the season, when I do my final review, I'll go over these and see if any of them turn out to be true, or if we can laugh at them. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love baseball, please give me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.